All right, I am going to try to show you how to do these masks. Let me make sure my video is set up. Yeah, it looks like you can see it. Okay, so you have your pieces, and I've got a couple different sets cut out, so I'll show you the different ones. You have your pieces, and for these, you need 2 of the big pieces, and then 1 of the piece where it's cut off a little bit shorter, and so this is going to be your pocket piece. And then there's a little notch cut in here that's the dart. And then you have 2 of the chin pieces and then a piece of elastic. So those are the pieces that you need. And the first step, I've got a couple different kind of stages going on here. So the first step is to finish the edges on the pocket piece. So I serged these, and then I'm going to fold them over and I'm going to stitch them down with a straight stitch right here, so that when you put your stuff in, your filter in, whatever you choose, this is a finished edge and doesn't catch. And then the second step is to take the notch and right sides together, fold your piece together and stitch along and make this little dart. And so you do that on all 3 of the pieces. So these 2 big pieces and the little piece. Okay, and then the next step is to line these up. And so you're going to take your one that you want to be the inside, and you're going to set that, and you're going to do right side to wrong side on the pocket. So you're going to line the pocket piece up like this, and you're going to pin it. You're going to pin it here. So I start in the middle, pin it, and then pin again here, and pin again here. Okay, and I would have folded these edges under, I just haven't for the sake of the video. And then you're going to take the outside piece and you're going to do right sides together and sandwich that in and include that right here like this. Okay. All right. And once you get that all pinned together, you are going to stitch all the way across. And I like to serge this. Serge all the way across the top where the pins are, all the layers together. And then after you serge it, you'll right sides out. And so I'm going to pause the video and I'll come back and I'll show you, stitch this up and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so what I've done is I've gone to the serger and I have just serged that edge that we pinned. So you can see all the way across through all the layers. And then I flipped it right sides out, and so you can see here is the pocket piece, the short piece that we finished the edges, and then here's the outside. So there's the 3 layers, and then I pressed along here just because this piece is sort of the piece that everybody sees, and I wanted to get a really tight seam on that. So what I have been doing was my husband created these little metal pieces for me and finished the edges, and I've been putting them in there for my nose clip piece. But what you can use, is a pipe cleaner that you have folded in half, and then folded in half, and then folded in half again. And you can put that in there. You could also use a piece of floral wire with the edges, with the ends kind of turned over so they don't get pokey. But I've been using these because my husband will make them for me. And if you want to know what this is, he's got a grinder thing, and it's like pipe strapping tape, I guess. I don't really know what that is, but and he just cut it to the size that I needed. All right, so your next step is going to be to make the pocket that goes, whatever you're using for this metal piece for the nose piece. You're going to make the little slot for that. So what I had been doing was going through all the layers, but when you do that, you really decrease the amount of area you can have for a filter. I did find one of these PM 2.5 filters that I think somebody is selling. I only have the one now. And it will fit in there as long as you don't use, you don't go too deep into this. So whatever you're using for the wire needs to be fairly thin. Alternatively, you can fold the pocket piece back and put the little slot for your metal just in between the front 2 pieces, which makes, it's going to be all encased in between here. So it's going to be all encased, and you're going to sew not through the pocket piece, but just through the two full-size pieces, a little line of stitching all the way around to encase that so it doesn't slip around. And then you fold your pocket back up, and you have the full pocket area for the filter, and you also have the metal in there for the nose. So whatever you're using for your metal, you can do the same thing. So I'm going to show you how I do that next. All right, so all I've done here is I've taken my piece of metal, whatever you use, and I have traced on that inside piece the outline of it. So I'm gonna stitch with just a straight stitch down here and over here. I'm then gonna slip that piece of metal in between here and then close it off right here, being really careful not to stitch through the metal because it'll break your needle and your machine will not be happy. So I'm gonna stitch that in right now and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so I've got the next step set up. So here's what it looks like completed. So you can see the stitching all the way around that marker. That's just an air erase pen, so it'll go away. And then you can see how I didn't sew the flap down. And on the front, you can barely see the stitching. I'll trim all those. And you can see that now now it bends, so it'll conform to your nose. And now you're gonna put the chin pieces on. So when you set these up, you're gonna put the front layer lives on its own, and you're gonna put the chin piece right sides together, centered on the bottom of that piece, okay? So you're gonna put the center here and you're gonna pin it. I like to pin it just on the one side, and then when you stop in the middle, and then you undo the pins once you have those stitches in and rotate it and do the second side. So you're gonna pin both of the chin pieces on halfway, stitch them, and then you're gonna do the next step. So this piece, and then, so that's the front piece. On the inside piece, you're gonna put the chin piece right sides together, but you're gonna go through the pocket piece, the inside piece, and you're gonna connect the chin piece. So you'll be going through 3 layers here, but same procedure. So here's what it looks like all pinned up. I've got this is the inside piece with the pocket, right? And then I've pinned just the first half. So this is the center. And when I'm gonna stitch along here, stop and kind of ease this curve on the machine. And then once I get to the middle, I'll take these pins out and stitch the second half. So you get that contour there, okay? And then I've pinned the front piece too. So this is the piece without the pocket. So I'm gonna do that and I'll come back and show you. All right, so I have gotten the other piece sewed. So you can see I sewed that chin piece on here and you can see how it's curved. I've got both chin pieces on. So you've got the piece with the pocket, the chin piece, the front piece and the pocket, and you're going to turn them so you can kind of see what it looks like. So we're gonna go, the next step is right sides together, and we're gonna line up, where are my pins? We're gonna line up the edges, and they should match up perfectly. So you're gonna line up the chin pieces here, right sides together for the sides of the mask. You're gonna sew along here, along the chin piece, along here, and then along the other side of the mask. And it's easier for me to line them up if I fold them this way. I'm sure there's an easier way to do it, but whatever. All right, so this is what it looks like once you've sewed it. So you can barely see, I've got a stitching line across there. And then you're gonna turn this inside out and finish the ends and you'll be done. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys the last step. So the last thing we did was we had sewn this together and we turned it right side out, okay? So I have another one I'll show you. You're gonna pull it through right side out. Here's the nose piece, here's the chin piece. I then press this edge just to make sure that it's, you could top stitch here if you wanted, but I just pressed it. I think that's enough for this purpose. And then I finished the edges. I just serged these closed, and then you fold them over. And I actually have taken, this is just an example, I folded over like this, and I fold the elastic in it, and then I make my little tunnel because I hate threading elastic through those little tunnels, and I just stitch with the elastic in it. Don't catch your elastic because you want this to move. And then this is what the finished mask looks like. So you've got your bendy nose piece, you've got, and I take about, for a women's mask, I do about 26 inches of elastic. For a men's, 30. And you're gonna have that elastic go through this pocket and through this pocket, and then just tie it on the bottom. You can finish it fancier here, but I like the knot because that way you can adjust it a little bit. And then these go on the back of your head, and I'll show you a picture with this on, and then your mask is complete. The other thing I'm thinking about is I want to put some foam in here if I can find some, and maybe glue it in so that it blocks the air there as well. But this one, you should be able to slide your filter, obviously with the plastic off, in here, and it'll fit in the pocket. And you'll have a, it's a little crunchy because it's got that plastic on it, but you'll have a filtered cloth mask that you can use. All right, that's my tutorial. I'll show you kind of what it looks like. Let me see if I can adjust this a little. All right, there we go.